Today, I'm going to be setting up and decorating my planners for the upcoming week, as well as setting some weekly action steps. So stay tuned. Hey guys, I'm Tracy and I want to welcome you back to my channel. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. And yes, we are going to be doing my weekly reset. What I have in front of me are my catch-all planners. So this is just my kind of sloppy catch-all planner. This is the one that usually stays in my living room and I jot things down as they come up. That way these two can kind of live in my office more so. And it works really well. So this is my daily catch-all. This is where I do my daily breakdowns and I also do a little bit of memory keeping type stuff. And then this is my weekly catch-all as well as my goals planner. So these are going to be the two that we're going to be focusing in on today. This one I've already filled in. I just have it off to the side to reference. So what I'm going to do first, for some reason, like previously what I had done is started with my action steps and I realized that probably isn't the best way to go. I've only been doing this for a few months now as far as like the MakseLife goal setting system, and I haven't really done the goal setting system. I just kind of moved into this planner and started doing monthly and weekly action steps. But I'm going to be doing my weekly setup first. Then I'm going to go back and maybe come in here and map out some things if I need to. And then I will go in and do my action steps, because at that point I will have a good picture of what's going on this week. Or will I? I don't know. But that's the plan. The reason why I say will I know what's going on this week is this is one of those really weird weeks where I know I'm going to be extremely busy just because I'm working on some pretty busy projects and things like that. And even after work, I know I'm going to be busy. But my schedule isn't going to look busy. It's like one of those weeks where everything I'm doing is taking a lot of time or is very, very exhausting. So it means that I'm just not going to be doing much afterwards. And that's just going to be a little deceiving when I fill in my calendar. So I need to keep that in mind when I start to do the action steps. So let me go ahead and open up my planner. I have not filled this in yet. Yes, I'm behind on that. So this is an undated planner, so you get quite a few weeks. I did do last week. I did my action steps and I filled everything in. Like I said, we'll do all of this in a moment. So I do need to date this at some point. I always forget to do that. I'm usually using an outdated planner and it just kind of forces me to redate it. But this, I always forget. So, yes, I'm going to use Posh Halloween because I've not done as many Halloween spreads as I would have liked this month. And this is the last week of the month. So I'm going to do this one. I feel like this one's fun. I haven't used this set yet. So I'm like, this is what we're going to go for. I also pulled pastel boxes from Mojo Jojo. I might have to dig into another box. I will say a few weeks ago, the one thing I did do when I was doing my setup is I put a vertical box here, and it was like to be used as my weekly task. So things that I needed to do that week, but I didn't really have a day to do them. I just needed to get them done this week. That worked really well because I did not do it last week. And I realized how helpful it was. Let's just put it that way. So I am going to flip through here and see if I have any of those long sidebar boxes. I do. Let's just use one of these. I think there's a lot of pink and gray in the in my actual sticker set. So we'll pull in the orange because there's some orange too. All right. First sticker down. I just didn't want to forget that. So yeah, this is going to be my weekly to-do list. There are a few things I need to keep in mind for this week appointment-wise. However, I don't know if I'm going to use boxes or mild liners, or these aren't mild liners, or tombos or calligraphs. So I pulled out the right colors, or colors that were close enough to my color palette of the stickers. I think there's only one appointment I probably do want to do with the box. So let's do that real quick. I don't think I have any. Ooh. Oh, I do have a box in this box set. We'll use one of these. Maybe we'll do this so that way it can be in both boxes. So that way I have a box for Sunday and a box for Saturday. All right. So I think for the most part, that is all I'm going to do as far as boxes go. I think for everything else that are like my work to-dos and stuff like that, I'm going to use the Tombos and the calligraphs for that. Just do a highlight mark. And then I think I'm just going to decorate this up. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to speed this up and I'm going to set up my planner for the week. All right, so here we go. So I only put in a few things on camera because like I said, I do prefer to fill in a lot of stuff off camera, but that doesn't mean I can't give you the 411 on how this will be filled in. So I do the color coding system. The pink is going to be for work. So usually that's just pretty straightforward, what I need to work on that day, or if it's a work related schedule type thing, I will put that in there. Then I have the orange, which is kind of just general life to-dos, so home related to-dos, any type of personal appointment type to-dos, anything that's not work or social media, because the gray is going to be my social media related to-dos. Or maybe I shouldn't say social media, girl with plans type stuff. Plus I'm also, if like I'm behind on certain crafting projects that are not necessarily going to be filmed for social media, and I've been trying to be really good about penciling those in, because sometimes I just want to lay on the couch, but then once I like get into my craft room and start doing stuff, I actually feel better than I did if I laid on the couch and just like played on my phone or scrolled through my phone. So I would prefer to do like crafting projects than do that. So I have been penciling them in. Like I am so far behind on my travel bucket list memory keeping journal that I've been trying to do that a little bit each week. So I have penciled that in. That's like what I think what's going to be on Thursday. I could have filled that in. But the other thing that I have been doing, especially like when it does relate to craft projects and especially my home to-dos, is I will write whatever it is here, and then I will literally do arrows and then write like what I need to do for that. So almost like a checklist, but it doesn't necessarily get done that day because it might need to be done the day prior. So I'm ready to go that day. It's been working really, really well. Just that breakdown, it's something I hadn't done before. I guess I did it to some extent in my daily, but I hadn't really done it in my weekly. And I do like having that overall picture, even the breakdown of what needs to happen to make that one task be marked as complete, has been really, really helpful. So I have been enjoying that. And I will say, even though I've been breaking down everything, I've had a lot of room in here. I'm surprised with how much room this horizontal gives me, especially considering how much I utilize it for like the breakdown of specific tasks and stuff like that. I mean, I don't always just go in a line. Sometimes I have like 2 columns within here. And then as I mentioned at the beginning, this is going to be my running to-do list. So those are not date specific. It's things I have to do this week. So what's probably going to go in here is all of my end of the year wrap up and prepping for November. So, you know, like I need to wrap up my monthly finances, need to make sure I have that all recorded. I need to set up budgets for the month of November, or a budget for the month of November. I need to just start prepping for November. November is going to be crazy around here. So that's probably what's going to go in this box, is all of those things, because basically I'm going to do them as I find time throughout the week. So I didn't want to pencil in a time frame for that. So there we go. That is how I set up my weekly. We will kind of backtrack and go to this momentarily. I'm trying to think if there's really anything I need to do for the daily. Usually for my daily, I would only come in and do Monday on Sunday. I would go in here though, and like, I have an appointment on Saturday. So usually I come in here and like write whatever is like time specific. So I will do that for future dates for the week. But for the most part, I don't do very much planning for the rest of the week in my daily until the day before. So I'm going to go ahead really quick and set up for Monday. All right, so I will fill all of this in off camera, but I'm going to chat with you a little bit about how I plan on using this. So if you have been with me for a while, nothing really has changed. But for those of you that are new, I'm going to do a quick kind of overview. So I time block my workday. That is what I do here. So this is what this is. I'm teleworking these 2 days. I put little boxes in here that are going to be my work to do. So I'm only going to write my work to do's over here. I'm not going to put them over here. It's just if I don't have any like meetings or anything like that scheduled, then this is usually just an empty box. So I figured I would start utilizing the block box by putting my to-dos in there. So that is what I do here. This is all just regular to-dos that may or may not get done for the day, but I like to pencil them in for Monday. This is why I only set up one at a time. So I will write in all of my to-dos that I want to do on Monday, probably after I finish filming this video. And then what I don't get done, I will mark off and then move to Tuesday, or sometimes maybe even move to later on in the week, just because I know that Tuesday I might not have time to do it. So that's what I do. These are just kind of just regular to-dos. They could be just very, very tedious tasks, but things that I may not always do if they're not written down because, you know, the TV's calling my name or something like that, or I'm in the middle of a good book and forget to do it. And then this box here, I like boxing it off, but this is just my journaling. And when I say journaling, I just write about the day. So I'm not writing about feelings or anything like that. I'm just kind of journaling about the day in general. And I just like the look of boxing it off and having it as its like own kind of identified section. And then I put a few little gray marks here because If you are a regular viewer of my channel, you may have noticed I have not been doing currently setups for at least the past few months. They have just completely gone by the wayside. So I've been trying to capture them in here. So that's what I'm going to be doing with the gray. And that kind of like came out of the fact that I started writing down the book that I was reading in here instead of just saying that I need to, like, that I read at nighttime. I've been writing the book like that I've been reading, and then if I watch something on TV, I can write that here or something of that nature, just so I have it recorded in my planner somewhere, because it is something that I want to capture. And then if I want to go back and set up past currently pages, then I can do so using the information in here. All right, so 2 down. Now we just need to go back and do the fun stuff, which is my weekly action steps. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to write. I'm so confused because this is a new to me like system. Those of you that use this system, or even those of you who don't, let me know. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but like, so you have your weekly actions here and you have your reflections here. What reflections go here? Is it based on the weeklies that I put here? Or am I reflecting on the past week, like what I put here, to guide what goes here? See, I'm almost thinking, like, it seems like you would reflect on this, but I feel like it would be easy for me to write down what I actually, like what I did last week to help guide this week. I don't know. Let's just go back. All right, for this week, I'm going to go back. I'm actually going to write some notes about this week here. I'm not necessarily probably going to do real reflections, but this past week was a rough one because I had all of these plans that I wanted to do, and then I got a horrible migraine on Monday and Tuesday, and then you had the migraine hangover, or like the lingering, is it going to come back or is it gone for good on Wednesday? So that pretty much knocked me down for 3 days. I mean, I was fine and functioning on Wednesday, but I was like nervous about doing anything, like AKA working out, to like maybe bring it back. So this week was kind of rough that way. And then I was working on a work project. So that really, really like exhausted me. So when I came down, when I came home, I was just done for the day. So needless to say, I was not very productive when it came to just life in general this week. So I'm going to put, I'm going to put notes. Now, the new MakseLife is actually set up with like really lightly. It has like category headings. This one just kind of gives you a thing. So I'm just breaking it apart how I want. All right, so I just wrote notes about that week. All right, so now we're going to come here. So basically, I don't really have anything. So the things I do need to keep in, I think that's it. I don't really have anything else, I don't think, to think about. It's just my work projects. We do turn the clock back. Did I even put that on here? So I get an extra day we all get an extra day on Sunday if you turn your clock back. All right. So now I'm going to break down some of these. Some of these, I think I'm going to do a little bit differently this week. Like I said, my schedule, I mean, you look at it, it doesn't look overly busy, but I already know because of projects and things like that, I'm not going to be able to handle a lot of stuff. So I am going to kind of keep that in mind as I do my weekly action steps. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to like just fill them in, and I'm going to do a voiceover kind of going over them. It's just too much for me to write and talk at the same time. So I'm going to do it that way, and I will kind of come back after all is said and done and wrap everything up. Okay, so let's kind of go through these weekly actions category by category, starting with the personal category. So for the personal category, what I have been using to kind of define this category is like routines and organization and pretty much the foundations for everything else is kind of how I see it. So the pretty much main focus of this category for the past 8 weeks now has been routines. However, I've been focusing more so on morning routines. Actually, I've not been focusing on morning routines, but that has been what my weekly action has been. I have failed miserably with that. So we're going to switch gears. And now we're going to be focusing on evening routines and nighttime routines. For evening, it's going to be more about productivity, and nighttime is self-care. I do come back and add daily planner check-in as well. That is something I'm decent at, except for the days I go into the office. Then I sometimes fail to look at my planner at all. All right, next, fun and recreation. This week, I don't really have too much to go into this category, so I'm switching gears and I'm putting my creativity and planning to-dos in here, and that is to work on my travel book. And I want to do that about 1 or 2 nights. That is very relaxing for me, so I just kind of need to remember to do that. And then we are going to jump to work and learning. So I need to finish my November YouTube schedule, at least a preliminary version of it, just figuring out what videos I need to schedule for the month of November. That was supposed to have been done last week, and I did work on it last week. I just haven't finished it up. And I really need to film about 2 to 3 videos this week just to get ahead of schedule. November is going to be crazy, so I really need to get ahead of schedule, or else I might just have to take a break for the month of November. We'll see. Health and wellness, basically I need to focus on consistency. I want to work out 4 times this week, which I should be able to do. And I want to do meal planning and meal prep. And I did break down the dates that I would need to do that, or the days of the week. And then for personal growth, I want to be in my affirmations journal at least twice this week. And I definitely need to use my massager daily. That is because, it pretty much is a waste of money to get a massage every month if I'm not actually doing the regular maintenance to kind of help with that. Then we have financial, which is October spending ledger plus my November setup. And that is going to be a budget, maybe even a Black Friday wish list. And then I need to do my vacation budget. And then finally, for physical environment, that is just going to be routine cleaning. And I now have to start thinking about getting up those leaves because they are now all on the ground. And yeah, so that is now going to probably be penciled in every week until I actually do it because it is something that I love to put off. All right, so there we go. I kept it simple. I did not even flip back to even see what's going on. I pretty much know how I kind of set up my goals for the month of October. So I didn't really need to do much flipping back. What I will say is the trip planning, I think is I've decided on it. So that is done. I've not done that, but this week, I don't know. This week with it being Halloween, we'll put that on here. Because I should be able to do it. I just don't know. I was thinking a lot of my friends have kids and things like that. So I just didn't know how busy it would be, but maybe I can tag along. All right. Yeah, so most of this is kind of what is on here. As far as physical environment, I haven't done any of this. I've done little bits of deep cleaning, but at this point, sadly, I think I'm gonna have to wait till the Christmas break to do the deep cleaning of my pantry, which means basically just taking everything out, figuring out what I want to keep, what I don't want to keep. Because things get pushed to the back of the pantry, like those salad dressings and stuff that you never use and you forget that's there that now you have to toss. So yeah, that's what I need to do, but I think that's just now gonna get moved to December. So there we go, guys. That is pretty much how I do my weekly reset. I'm not sure how this is going to change with the introduction of new planners come 2026, but this is working really well for me. It's actually working better than it had in the past. And I am attributing a lot of that to my weekly actions. Yes, it's goal related, but I really feel like it helps me kind of stay on track with just life, because a lot of my goals are just general life related. They aren't super big things right now. I'm not trying to save for a car or anything like that. And I'm not trying to I'm not going back to school or anything of that nature. So I feel like my goals are just very general and they're very manageable. So my weekly actions are kind of already going to be on here just because they're just basic life stuff about just trying to improve my life in general. So there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please press that like button. If you have yet to subscribe, I hope you would also consider hitting that subscribe button while you're at it. Now, that is all I have for now. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time, bye.